Hello, my name is Laura, and you're listening to Going Out, Going In, a performance for headphones and a pedestrian journey through an urban landscape. Going Out, Going In was conceived and created by Laura Fisher with sound by Sonia Killmann. This performance begins outside in stillness, but before we begin, take a moment to adjust the volume in your earphones. The sound should be loud enough to be able to hear my voice and the music playing underneath, while still being able to hear some of the sounds of the street outside too. You may be more comfortable listening with only one earphone in. My voice will play through both at all times. In a moment, I will ask you to begin your journey from wherever you currently are. You decide the route you'll take. As you go, I will offer instructions, questions, and invitations to you. This is a performance, but you don't need to perform to anyone. A breath in can just be a breath in. A step, a step. The performance is taking place outside in public, but it is experienced in private. It exists in the things you see, in what you hear, and what you feel in your body. My invitations should be taken as a guide to experience the spaces around you. You can deviate from the guide, pause, play, or rewind the recording as you need, and adapt the instructions to suit your body and pace. With music in your ears, you will rely more on your eyes and your body to navigate safely from place to place. So take extra care when crossing roads. Look twice, wait for the lights. We are in no particular hurry, so enjoy the moments of pause they offer. Before you start to walk or begin your journey, take a moment to arrive, to be still. Where are you? What can you see ahead of you? What can you sense behind you? Look around and decide a direction you want to travel in, and then turn yourself so you're facing that direction. This is a beginning place. Looking forward, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, shift your weight forwards and let that forward movement gently propel you into walking or travelling. As you're moving, I'm going to invite you to focus on your breathing and your body, so you might want to slow your pace down a little from the normal speed you'd travel at. Take a breath in and a breath out, focusing on the out breath. What does the air feel like today? Does it feel cold and crisp? Damp and close? Warm and light? Notice the place where your breath meets the air when you exhale. Is it swept away by the wind, or perhaps it hangs momentarily, suspended in a cloud of frost? Take a breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Can you bring your attention to your skin, to the surface of your body where it meets the air or your clothes? Without using your hands to touch, can you feel what temperature your skin is right now? Take another breath in through your nose, allowing your ribcage to expand sideways and your stomach to soften, and then breathe out through the mouth, letting your ribcage relax as you release a steady stream of air out through your lips. Try to bring your attention deeper now than your skin. Draw it in and down to the muscles and bone and blood flowing through you. What temperature is your body? Can you feel its warmth, its rhythm? And returning your attention again to your breathing, start to try and synchronize your steps or movements with your breath. In for 4, out for 4. Adjust the pace of your movements until they fall in time with your breathing. Notice what the ground feels like, the texture, the small vibrations it sends back through the body as you travel across it. And as you're moving, let yourself become aware of the small movements of your clothes and the sensations they create against your body. Keys in your pocket, the swish of a jacket, the gentle bump of a bag against your back, just noticing and allowing these sensations to ground you and connect your mind in with your body, anchoring you in the present. You can return to focusing in on these sensations at any time you need. If at some point on this journey you are particularly moved by something that you see or experience, I invite you to pause and try and take in all of the details of that experience. Notice how it makes you feel. Register where you feel it in the body, and then try to imprint that feeling into your body's memory, as if you were pressing a hand into wet cement. Where is your eye line? Are you most comfortable with the cracks and litter of the curb? Do your eyes roam freely and confidently across people, places, and space? Are they fixed forward on a destination? Perhaps you keep a nervous eye on your peripheral vision. Do you soften your focus to avoid the unwanted gaze of others? Who is allowed to look? Who is allowed to be seen? If you need to, give yourself permission to look, to notice, to observe, to raise your gaze, to turn your head, to focus your eyes. Let your eyes explore. Try to pay attention to what you see. Not just the pavement and the walls and the cars and the lampposts, but also the lines and the shapes, the colours and the patterns. Let yourself notice the light and the shadows, the movements and the stillness in the places that you pass. Have you been here before? Do you know these streets well? Is this somewhere you feel safe? What are the textures, the smells, the sounds? What do you find your eyes drawn to? Do you look for organic lines or solid shapes? Bright colours or muted hues? Perhaps you find your eyes going towards movements or to windows. Or do you notice patterns or symmetry? What are you drawn to? Spend some time with the things that you find interesting. And what happens if you slow your pace down, even slower? Turn your head. Allow yourself to follow your gaze, to move in response to curiosity, to walk or travel without a destination, go the long way, to view the places around you through the eyes of a tourist. You might find yourself heading towards a favourite or familiar place, a park, a bench, or a particular view you enjoy. Or perhaps you find yourself being drawn to places you rarely travel, or allowing your route to change as something new takes your attention. I invite you to be led by your curiosity for the duration of this performance. Look around you, to your left and to your right. What can you see? How high are the buildings? How far can you see? Start to notice the structures and the objects which have been designed, placed or built. The physical features in the landscape that organise and divide up the space. Buildings, walls, trees, pillars, fences. The parts of a built environment which configure open space into a more complex arrangement of structures and spaces to move through. And observe the spaces between these structures and buildings too. The pathways, roads, underpasses and pavements. The spaces you move through. What direction are you travelling? How do these buildings and structures shape the way you move through space? Perhaps you might notice the sharp right angles of inner city corners, or the gentle twists and turns of the suburban cul-de-sac. Imagine for a moment that as you are travelling, you're leaving behind you a trail of colour, any colour you choose, showing the journey you have taken. If you were to view yourself from above, looking down on a map of the streets below you, what would that trail look like? What shape would it take as you weave between the buildings along the pathways of the street? In going outside, you have joined a network of people, all independently moving through space. A pedestrian choreography of people going about their lives, travelling from place to place. The pathways of your journeys laid out by the planning and shape of the streets. Notice the people that you pass, the pathways you take. Notice where your journeys intersect and overlap. Take a moment to return your focus to your body, to your breathing. In for 4, out for 4. Observe the speed you're moving at, the movements you're making, the rhythm and patterns you fall into with the streets and pavements. If you're somewhere familiar, you might notice that your body turns, stops and moves with very little input from your conscious thought. If you're travelling in a new place, you might observe that you're more conscious of each turn or crossing, retaining a physical memory of the journey you're taking. When was the last time you wandered around a town or city you've never been to before? Does knowing a place change the way you experience moving through it? Which cultures have informed the way you understand and move through space? Which side of the pavement do you walk on? Who taught you to move safely through a town or city, to stop and go, to know your way home? Perhaps you've taught someone how to safely move through a town or city too. Notice how the urban landscape around you not only influences the pathways and journeys you make through space, but also the movements of your body, the turns of your head, the pauses, the side steps you take to overtake someone or move out of their way. Can you recognise the way you read the landscape and move in response to it? A lowered curb indicates a place to cross the road. Lights that tell you to wait or go. A bend in the pavement that takes you around a corner, changing your direction, perspective and your body in space. Not all space is designed equal or with all bodies in mind. How do you experience moving through an urban landscape? Do you travel with ease? Does a set of stairs with no handrail represent a shortcut or a barrier to you? Can you travel down an unlit street at night? Is the ground beneath you well maintained or littered with uneven slabs and potholes? Can you travel straight across it confidently, or are you frequently looking down, checking for bumps and trip hazards or weaving between puddles? Keeping your attention on the movements your body is making, try to begin to make active decisions about how and where you move. Not to be dangerous or disruptive, but just to be fully aware of how you're moving. To make decisions consciously, to move or to stop, to look up, to turn, or retrace your steps. Notice them and name them for yourself. I turn my head to the left. I move my cold hand in my pocket. I turn the corner. I lift my stick and place it down again. I swerve around a pothole. Continue noticing and naming these movements. I invite you to think of this as a pedestrian choreography, a duet with the urban landscape. How does it feel to travel this way? Making conscious decisions, following your curiosity, being aware of the environment around you, noticing the way you move, the people, buildings and structures, listening into the sounds of the city or town. What does it make you notice about the environment around you? How does it make you feel? How does it feel to wander through a space designed for functionality? I invite you to shift your focus now, away from the structures, buildings, and pavements of the built landscape. Start to notice things which are there by chance, places where the natural environment creeps into the built one, small disruptions to the order and planning of the streets, a weed pushing through the cracks of the tarmac, birds nesting in chimney pots, moss growing over the stone of a wall, water gathering around a drain blocked with leaves. Start to notice the places where nature has found itself among the built environment around you, where it exists side by side, intertwined, sometimes one disturbing the other. Which are you more drawn to? Do you see these interventions of nature as signs of dereliction or of returning life? How do you encounter nature in an urban landscape? Do you experience it differently? Do you notice it at all? Can you notice it now? Perhaps rainwater running down the side of a bus, or the early morning light bouncing off the stone of a building. How often do you look up when you travel through a town or city or suburban area? How much of the sky can you see? Is it wide and expansive, or cut up into jagged shapes by the buildings on the skyline? What does the sky look like today? When was the last time you watched the sunset? Where is your favourite view? Depending on how built up the space is around you, it might be hard to look up and see the sky. Try looking around you. Look for other places the sky can be found. In reflections on car windscreens, in windows, in a puddle. How does it feel to look down and see the sky reflected back at you? In urban and built environments, it's not just light and sky which are obscured and redirected, but also the wind and the sounds and smells and sensations it carries with it. Can you feel the wind? It might be hard to notice the wind while moving, but if you slow down or come to stillness for a moment and return your focus to your body, let your skin listen for whispers of a breeze. Which direction is it coming from? Where is it going? When you can feel the breeze against your skin, turn yourself so you're facing directly into the wind. You could do so in stillness or continuing to travel, altering your direction so you walk into the wind, or angling your face and body to meet it. If the wind feels as though it keeps shifting directions, try to be its mirror. Let your body be soft and loose so the breeze can turn your shoulders with it. If you're finding it's particularly calm or sheltered, you can keep walking and listening and try these invitations further on, or when the wind next reminds you of her presence. From this place, facing into the wind, Return to a focus on your breathing. As you inhale, imagine you are drawing the wind directly into your lungs, filling them with air. Spend a few breaths here, noticing the temperature of the air as you breathe in and the sensation of the breeze against your skin. And when you've spent a few breaths here, turn yourself around so this time the back of you is square to the wind. If you're travelling rather than in stillness, change your direction of travel or angle yourself so you're moving with the wind at your back. Return to your breathing. This time, focus on the sensation of the wind at your back as you exhale. Let the wind support your exhalation and offer you a sense of release as it carries your breath forward, out of your body and far away beyond your vision. Spend a few more breaths here. With each exhalation, imagining your breath being carried further and further away from you into the horizon. Turn your head and choose a new direction to travel in. How far can you see ahead of you? Looking forward, slowly raise your gaze, starting from the ground in front of you, all the way to the top of the skyline. Take your time. As you move from place to place, you travel forward through time and space. Looking forward, you are looking into the future. As you travel, you step into the future you have just observed. To move through space is to also travel in time. Your body is always in the present. Continuing to keep your gaze forward in the direction you're moving, can you bring your attention to your peripheral vision, the outside edges of your gaze? What can you see out of the corner of your eye? Looking forward still, fix your vision on a large building or structure up ahead. Focus on a point at the top of the building where it meets the sky. Can you hold this point fixed in your vision as you continue to travel forward towards it? Use your peripheral vision to ensure you don't bump into anything while you're focused on that one spot ahead of you. As you move towards the point fixed in your gaze, notice the way the landscape around you appears to move backwards past you in your peripheral vision. Feel the sensation of time moving past you, of stepping into the future, of your body being present in the moment. When you're close enough to the point you've been looking at that you need to turn your head to see it, find a new building or structure or object on the skyline ahead to fix your gaze upon and repeat the process. Continue travelling this way for a short while, fixing your gaze on a point at the skyline and then drawing yourself forward, observing the movement and time passing in your peripheral vision. Your body is always in the present. Wherever you are just now, bring that exploration to a close. Take a moment to look back the way you just came. Think back to the point at the beginning of this journey, where you were, how you felt, and then start to remember the journey you've taken. Replay it in your mind through your body's memory. The twists and turns, the places you paused, the things that caught your attention, uphill, downhill, what the texture of the ground felt like. Work your way through the streets and pathways you took until you arrive at the place you are now. Feel all that movement held in your body for a moment, and then find a place to come to a standstill. This is an ending place. What does the air feel like today? Without using your hands to touch, what temperature is your skin? What temperature is your body? Can you feel its warmth, its rhythm? And when you're ready, begin to make your way back to the place you began. You might decide to keep looking at the skyline, or finding the disruptions to the planning nestled within the design, or to pause somewhere to breathe with the wind. Or you might just choose to walk and be guided by the walkways and invitations of the street. The music will play you out, and when it's finished, I invite you to keep listening.